Hey everybody, I am back for day 6 of 10 days of Christmas to a healthy holidays. And today is going to be about don't have time to work out, do this instead. So let's start out with the biggest problem though that people are having issues with. As I talked about, I don't know what day it was at this point, but I talked about issues with being consistent with exercise. So if you haven't seen that video, go back and watch that. The biggest problem with exercise is generally the fact that people overdo it, they overschedule it, or they do things they actually hate. They may think that they like it, or they may think they should like it because society has said otherwise, like, oh, I really need to do this. I really should be at the gym. But deep down inside, you're loathing every minute of it. And then when you feel you need to do something, it always drives the behavior of like a naughty child, right? So if as adults, we no one really wants to be told what to do, right? So if we feel like we have to do something, that's like mom and dad telling us we have to eat our broccoli or we can't have a cookie. And then what's the very first thing that we do when we say we can't have something is we go do it. We go do that thing because that is just how inherently we work. So that's one thing I want to remind you of in case you did not see the video about how to stay consistent with exercise. Now, the solution to this is to make sure that your objective is shrunken down. So it must be much smaller. Again, I have more details in the video about how to stay consistent with exercise. It must be fun, or at least something you'll semi enjoy to do and semi easy. If it's too hard at the beginning, you'll just quit. Okay, it's just human nature. That's how we are. So we either have to learn to live with that and start out small, or you're going to be stuck in the same place forever. Okay, that's just the reality of it. So the thing that you can do is start out with just like taking 5 to 10 minutes of anything. It could be something like yoga, stretching, seated stretching, standing stretching. There's a really cool, I used to teach yoga or a standing core class. There's lots of ways to get balance with just standing and moving your limbs around. So that's a really good way to kind of have fun. And you can even watch TV while you're doing it, while you're starting to learn how to make that habit, right? Because it's about creating a habit and then you can tweak it to what fits better in your life. So 5 to 10 minutes to start out just to build a habit. Okay, key here. Okay. Yoga, you can look it up on YouTube, right? There's no reason for me to come here and show you how to do it because you can find a bajillion different things on the internet. It's not about what to do. We are inundated with information all the time, but there's a reason why you're not doing it, and this is why. Okay. So again, stretching, walking, sit to stands. So since I'm in physical therapy, you may or may not know what that actually means, but it is what it says it is. You could literally just do sitting and standing as an exercise. Okay. You can sit and stand. We do this for rehabilitation, and there's nothing wrong with doing that if you haven't done any exercising for forever. And even if you have, sitting and standing really quickly and really bringing those hips forward and squeezing your butt is going to raise your heart rate up because our legs and our glutes are very large muscle groups. So they're going to need a lot of energy and a lot of blood in order to, move them. So that's why anything with legs or arms above your heart are going to bring your heart rate up faster. Okay, so that's sit to stands. Again, anybody can do those because I work with geriatrics typically in PT setting, and they can do it, so you can do it. All right. So, and then you've got stairs, depending on where you are. There's not lots of stairs here in Texas, but in the Midwest, 2-story houses everywhere. Okay, so you can run up and down the stairs. You can keep track of it and say, well, today I'm going to do 2 flights of stairs this whole week. Next week, maybe I'll try 2.5 or maybe 3. Okay. Don't go crazy, but start somewhere, because if you don't start somewhere small, you'll never start, and you'll always keep saying, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes, and please don't do that to yourself anymore. Okay, there is a way. I do this for a living, but you got to start out small. Okay, so again, get creative. I do have some videos on my Instagram that I don't use very often, but if you want the actual video sent to you, I do have some with how you can get creative with using paper plates. So instead of buying expensive fitness equipment, which is overpriced to begin with, I started out buying furniture sliders, and then I just take my leg and then slide it out to the side, right? You can slide it forward and backwards. So it's basically a side lunge, a forward lunge, and a backwards lunge. Don't have that? Guess what? Almost everybody has paper plates in their house. You can use that typically on carpet. You can use it on hardwood floors too, but sometimes using just a paper or a washcloth is easier for hardwood floors. Super easy, and it feels good and it feels fun. I actually really enjoy that one. And then cast iron pans. Even if you don't have a cast iron pan, you must have some sort of heavy pan. You can curl it. You can lift it over your head, all while you're sitting, right? So let's just say there's a reason why you don't want to exercise, because you can't. Either you don't have time or you're in pain, okay? If you have pain, there's always ways to work around it. If you have a shoulder pain or a neck injury, you can do seated leg exercises or seated core exercises. There's a bajillion, trust me, there's a bajillion different ways to do it. There is never an excuse for not doing an exercise because of an injury, unless you are in a full body cast, and then I will let you slide. But again, with my background, I've seen it all. People are always capable of doing something. We just have to find what that something is for you. And that's a specialty also that I have in my back pocket. So even if you don't have a cast iron pan, let's go back to that. You can also be really creative and put soup cans in a plastic bag or a fabric grocery bag, whatever you use, and put that around your ankle, or you can put it around your hands and curl them. There are so many different ways that you can do exercise and just kind of squeeze it in for 5 to 10 minutes. Again, we don't want to go crazy. Forget about the sets and reps for now. It's just about creating a habit. So now we talked about like ways to get creative, ways to work around injuries in a nutshell. If you want more details, just reach out. And then time, again, most people, we're talking like probably 95% of the people who say they don't have time actually have enough time. It just comes down to priorities, okay? Because everybody has typically 5 to 10 minutes in their schedule during the day to do something. It's just, you're not thinking about it as exercise. You're thinking you have to go to the gym and it has to be structured for it to be worth it, but that's not the case. So going for a 10-minute walk on your lunch break, or if you still have that company that actually gives you a 10-minute break, which is like probably gone in history, but I used to work for a company that did that. And it's like, what, does that even exist anymore? I don't know, but if you have it, take advantage of it. Again, you can do sit to stands at your desk. You can do some stair climbing in the hallway of your work. You can, I mean, even if we're so hard on time, the one thing you absolutely can do in your car, and I have this from my belly dancing background, is squeeze your butt. Squeeze are called glute squeezes. You can squeeze your glutes in your car when you're just driving, right? And you can do it while you're sitting in your desk. So there's no excuses to not at least start to strengthen your butt, because if you do not have a strong butt, you have an unstable pelvis typically, which then causes hip pain and back pain and all sorts of fun things like that. And it's very easily fixed by strengthening, especially the gluteus medius and minimus on the side. I call it the side butt. And it helps stabilize the hips. Without that, we have all sorts of problems and we end up having more wear and tear on our hips than we really need to. Okay, so something as simple as just squeezing your butt, you know, you can even do it to music. Left, right. Usually at the beginning, it's like butt has to go together because a lot of people's butt's not squeezing. We have a problem firing it because we sit all day long, and that just happens even with like healthy people. My left butt cheek turned off once because I was having some hip and knee problems. It happens to me, which means it happens to all of you. So start with double glutes, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then when you get really good, you can go back and forth. And then when you're like my old belly dance teacher, who was like the bomb, by the way, you can do crazy patterns with your left, right, right. Oh my God, just the butt just goes crazy. It's so much fun, and you can do it to music and just have fun with it. So there's no excuse. So that's what I wanted you to be aware of, is briefly why we get into trouble in the first place, some things that you can do about it in a nutshell, and that we all have at least 5 to 10 minutes in our day, at least, you know, maybe 4 to 5 days a week. There might be some days that just absolutely just don't work, but it comes down to priorities. It always does. Even if it's kids, get them involved. Get them involved, because it's about your overall health. And if you do not get your overall health in check now, not only you're going to pay for it when you're old, but your kids are going to pay for it, because they're going to watch the choices that you make and they're little sponges. So if they see mom or dad not taking care of themselves and it's always about everybody else first, and they don't even have 5 minutes to do exercise, they're going to pick up on that. And then they're going to have health problems potentially when they're older too, because they're going to see that you don't value taking care of yourself. And this is what I want to make sure that you're aware of. I see it happening. Okay. So the last thing I want to tell you about is HIIT. If you don't know about it already, it's high intensity interval training. Now, granted, there's the word intensity in there, but you can still scale it down. The idea is 4 minutes. 4 minutes. We all could do 4 minutes, and it's there's a whole thing about this, but I'm just going to make it short and sweet. The general protocol is 20 seconds of high intensity followed by 10 seconds of rest. Now, high intensity to you is different than what your neighbor is. So if it gets your heart rate up, do it. 20 on, 10 off. 8 cycles, which is 4 minutes. You can go and download an app that is a Tabata timer. It's great. And then you get this little, yay, you're done. And it's really exciting. It's kind of a little gold medal. I guess it depends on what you find, but hopefully they all have something fun like that. And it just, again, gets you in the motion. It gets the blood flowing. It gets the endorphins going. And it's only 4 minutes. You don't have to do the actual protocol where you have like 90% of heart rate max. That's something you can work into, but it's a fun little structure that works within your heart rate max. Okay, like what I'm going to do is going to be different than somebody else's do, but you can literally do sit to stands or jumping jacks if you want something a little bit more high activity, but it is going to do a little more damage to your joints, right? Depending on where you are in your life. Knee drives, you can do those, but just regular squats. I mean, you can even do push-ups on the wall. Just keep it easy. As long as your heart rate is getting elevated for that 4 minutes and you're just starting to create a habit, that is all that we need at the beginning. Okay. So please, what is something from all of the little tips that I just gave you? What is something that you think that you personally can implement tomorrow? Okay, I'll give you tonight off just because you might not get this email until later tonight, or you might not get it till tomorrow. But what is the one thing you can do from here tomorrow that is going to progress you that much closer to your goals? All right. Challenge you. I want you to comment below. And if you have any questions about details on that, just let me know. Again, I'm Erika with EG Wellness Body and Mind Transformations, and I'm here to help you through life's challenges of diet and exercise and all things up here. So have a great night. I will talk to you soon.